Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio May 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as May goes, Venus will be in Taurus from like the 15th until the 31st. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, Scorpio, if you're unattached, you may connect with the Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Taurus characteristics and might lead to a significant other situation. And maybe it might be some kind of partnership, such as some kind of business partnership. This could be something where you might be putting a lot of value into trustworthiness, loyalty, steadfastness, persistence as far as your relationships go, as far as a significant other situation, a grandmother perhaps, and also to perhaps even legal matters and responsibilities, as well as trustworthiness, perhaps in trusting yourself, perhaps in doing what you're supposed to. It could also be about very conservative spending in 7th house matters such as legalities and perhaps even a grandmother or a significant other, things that you're doing for others in general. And it could also be about the enjoyment of Taurus competitions, such as doing things like some kind of endurance, running, or doing some kind of something artistic, perhaps anything that could be Taurus related. This could also be about enjoying and valuing persistent negotiations. Anyway, well, the next thing up. Well, as far as May goes, Mars will be in Gemini from the 1st until the 16th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be about scattering perhaps your energies and resource, as far as situations with others, resources go. You might be desiring intellectual stimulation in a sexual partner, but at the same time being the 8th house being emphasized, something that's very deep and something that's certainly not superficial as well. This could also be about having a sexual liaison with a Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Gemini traits. Some cases this may manifest in possible surgery connected with the arms, the hands, perhaps at this time. It could also be about exhibiting a lot of quick-witted energy in crisis situations, and it could also manifest perhaps a lot of energy into a variety and manifold of 8th house matters at this time. The situation perhaps with sexual partners and intimate connection, people that you may be involved in a shared resources situation with maybe a little bit more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual. So anyway, next thing up. Well, as far as May goes, Mars will be in Cancer from the 16th until the 31st. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this could be about perhaps rather contentious and acrimonious situations with in-laws and grandchildren. It could be very strong emotional battles. It could be oversensitivity to ridicule and criticism. It could also be putting a lot of tenacious and clinging type energy into 9th house matters such as publishing, matters, activities with in-laws, grandchildren. It could be matters in a religious congregation or college, university, long distance traveling. It could also manifest perhaps putting a lot of this energy and vitality, the tenacious energy again, into 9th house matters at this time. But there can also be it might be fights with family members that might affect other 9th house matters, such as maybe, for example, being able to concentrate or fully do what you want to do 9th house related, such as publishing or traveling abroad. Anything 9th house related at times might be a little bit more difficult if you're involved in some contentious situation with a home or family member. Now, anyway, Well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Sagittarius still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, as I've talked about in previous videos, Jupiter can be rather paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this may very well expand and enlarge foolhardy, self-righteous, even over-optimistic and over-enthusiastic energy, perhaps in matters of a financial nature. Possessions that are accumulated could even be over your own resources at this time, and perhaps even with people that you're generating money with. Now, this could be something too where also to guard against becoming overly foolhardy and reckless over matters and trying to attain greater self-worth and self-esteem, such as working out with weights that you are at too heavy a weight, for example, that might lead to some kind of injury. It could be also to this could be very auspicious for Sagittarius related money-making endeavors, such as something with publishing or advertising, something connected with traveling or publishing, working with horses. Also, this can manifest in a lot of hope and optimism through having religious and values values connected with religion and philosophy as well. So anyway, next thing up. Well, Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, you may experience some restrictions and limitations in matters with siblings, with cousins, with neighbors, with your communications. This could make you be feeling somewhat despondent and melancholy, but at the same time, this could also be about taking care of a sickly or debilitated cousin, neighbor, or sibling. It could be someone also you knew from your early education. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints, and maybe making you feel somewhat dejected. There may be some difficulties in short journeys at this time, where there might be mechanical or what have you, some kind of restriction with this. And also too, it could also manifest in taking very serious responsibility to your short journeys, to your communications, and maybe even people that were prominent in your early education at this time as well. And older people might be more prominent assimilating information, your communications at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, one way this may manifest is it could be about Taurus friendships, it could be about Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus characteristics and might figure more prominently in your legal matters, your relationships, your dealings with open adversaries at this time, negotiations. Could also be you might be experiencing some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior, perhaps from a significant other, or it could be a grandmother or somebody that you're in some relationship with. It could be with others in general. And so your relationships might be more erratic and sporadic than usual. And also at this time, if you're unattached at this time, Scorpio, you may wind up marrying a foreigner, and it could be a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Taurus traits. This could also be about having certain maybe internet negotiations at this time with someone, and it could also be about perhaps really dealing with Uranus type open adversaries. It could be people that are in astronomy, astrology, computers, electronics, innovators, and they might be persistent ones too, given that this is Taurus energy. Or it could be it could be somebody that has a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Taurus characteristics. Anyway, next thing up. Well, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, well, this could be about, in some cases, dealing with very deceptive and duplicitous children, lovers at this time. Guard against deluding yourself in matters connected with investments and speculation. You might find that your personal popularity might be diminishing or dissipating at this time as well. And also too, it could be where children and lovers might, or one or the other or both might be involved in some kind of drugs or alcohol or chemical issue. And fifth house people might seem a little bit more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Also too, on a positive end though, this could be about perhaps some Neptune type enjoyment, such as poetry, dancing, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, dancing, poetry, photography, chemistry, anything that could be Neptune related. We're doing something with illusions such as magic tricks, and also you might find yourself doing some self-sacrificing in terms of your fun, amusement, and enjoyment. And be careful against fraudulent investments at this time, especially if transit Neptune is making adverse aspects, say, to your natal Mercury. I mean, because this could be where you're a little bit, or where you're not always thinking that clearly, and you might be seeing the fine print and details in things at this time. And remember, when you're talking about Neptune energy, it's a little bit more lethargic and it's more relaxing. So you might, if this is making, say, especially like an adverse aspect to your natal sun, your natal ascendant, or even Mars, you might feel more like fantasizing and just being more stagnant as opposed to actually doing things that are fifth house related. Last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be about an actual literal death of a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor, someone that might have been prominent in your early education. Guard against power struggles and manipulative behavior in terms of third house people at this time. And also at this time as well, guard against also perhaps some kind of compulsive or obsessive issues clouding your rational thinking at this time. You might find yourself trying to secretly or covertly gather information on somebody at this time. It might be somebody third house related, such as a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor. It could be somebody that was prominent in your early education, someone you may know in your short journeys at this time. And also, it might be a time where you might be transforming the way you're speaking at this time to some degree. It could simply be maybe just learning another language. And also, too, at this time, another way this may manifest is you might find yourself communicating more about Pluto type subjects. It could be something perhaps with astrology, the supernatural, the occult, something with horror, matters with insurance. Maybe I don't know about insurance, but maybe in matters just connected with transformation as well. Some kind of matters with death at this time. You might be a little bit more morbid in terms of the way you might be thinking or speaking at this time, more so than usual. So anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio May 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time, where I will be giving you my take on the May 4th, 2019 new moon in Taurus. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.